What is up, y'all? Thanks for tuning into Mr. Perp Sports. In today's video, we are drafting from the first overall position in our mock draft today. Keep in mind, this is a live mock draft, so we are going against other people. I feel like that's probably the best way to prepare ourselves going forward. So, draft is about to start, so let's see how this unfolds. All right, we are on the board. Could go with McCaffrey here. Could go with Chase. Could go with JJ. I'm going JJ. I like JJ. He's obviously a great player. Target monster. I just love having him on my team at the same time. So happy to go with JJ as my first pick. Let's see how this turns out going forward now. So after we took Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase goes off the board. Then we have McCaffrey go right after Jamar Chase. Everything's pretty standard so far. And then after McCaffrey, Travis Kelce goes, then Tyreek Hill. Kind of early for Kelce, but not really at the same time. There could be the argument that he could go first overall in a PPR league. Especially maybe even a 12 team. As we're doing, because that tight end position is that much more scarce to get pretty good production out of, so can't really fault that pick right there. But after Tyreek Hill goes, then we got Eckler. We'll see how he does this year. Still a good pick, still a first rounder, of course. Then after Eckler, Cooper Kupp goes. I think that dude may have been on auto draft, but if Kupp's healthy, steal of a pick at number 7. Saquon Barkley goes after Kupp. Like me some Saquon this year too. I've drafted him in 2 of my other videos, I believe. But after Saquon, we got Bijan going. He had a great run the other night in the preseason game. Looks like a man out there. But after Bijan, CeeDee Lamb goes off the board. When we get back to my pick, I like to start. I like the idea of starting double wide receiver, but we'll see who's available when it flips around to my pick. I also might have to steal an elite quarterback on that turn, because it's doubtful that anyone truly elite is going to make it back to me. Justin Herbert might. I don't know if I would feel too confident, but we'll see. After CD went, then we had Stephon Diggs go off the board. Pretty good value for him right there towards the end of the first round. We'll see who goes with this last pick in the first round. Could be AJ, could be Amon-Ra. Let's see who the cheat sheets have as the available best players. Devontae Adams is still there. I think Amon-Ra just went. Yep, Amon-Ra just went. So Cody Lee in the 12th spot has the turn pick here. If I were him, I would probably go with A.J. Brown or one of these running backs, Pollard or Chubb, but probably A.J. Brown. I think that double receiver start would look real nice. Be a good foundation. Okay, and they do go A.J. Brown, so that's a solid start for Cody Lee. And after A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams goes off the board. So team 11 has Diggs and Adams as their 1-2. Pretty stacked receiver start there as well. Next up will be Gilby, 2026, up in this. FantasyPros suggests Garrett Wilson. I'd suggest that as well, and I'll probably go with him because he's probably on auto pick, but maybe he's really taking the full 30 seconds. But after Garrett Wilson went, the team who originally took Bijan is up next, and he took Chubb, so he went double running back to start his draft. He got 2 really solid running backs. Can't really fault him for taking them at those points. But after Chubb, we have King Henry go off the board, so Prime Champ as well. Back-to-back running backs, back-to-back great picks. They must feel confident that they can get pretty good receivers later on in the draft, and they'd probably be right in that thinking. A lot of good receivers this year, a lot of serviceable receivers, especially if you need to pick someone up in the mid rounds. After King Henry, we have Tony Pollard come off the board to the team that previously drafted Cooper Kupp. And then Jalen Waddle goes off the board to the team that originally drafted Eckler. And then we have our first quarterback off the board in Patty Mahomes going to the 5th team, shocker, with a Tyreek Hill as his first pick. So a little reunion there between Mahomes and Hill via fantasy. So good 1-2 for him, early for a quarterback, but at the same time, it's Mahomes. How early is early for him? He's gonna produce. He's a great pick. But after Mahomes, Chris Olave goes off the board to the Kelsey owner. And then we have Devontae Smith go to the McCaffrey drafter. Pretty solid start all over for all the teams so far, I'd say. We are coming up here pretty soon. So Jonathan Taylor just went, and now it is our turn. So we originally took Justin Jefferson, of course. Up next are the next 2 picks for us. We have pretty good options here at running back. I like what we'll have maybe coming around on the next turn. So 1-2, take whoever we want. I'll go with Josh Allen right now because it doesn't matter. I'm going to use my next pick on T. Higgins. Interchange them. Doesn't really matter. I feel like T. Higgins is a very solid wide receiver 2 to have. And I like the start of our draft so far. We actually could go with Higgins, or we could go with one of these tight ends, but I think one of the tight ends, a serviceable one, will be available on our next pick. So let's go with T. Higgins. I like that start. So we do have 2 bye week 13s. Keep that in mind. My last couple drafts, I've kind of made the mistake of drafting too many. I know there's people who say don't really stress it, but I don't want to have a ton on the same bye week. That's just my opinion. That's how I like to play. So we have to keep that in mind. I don't see where to see the bye weeks on FantasyPros, so I have a bye week little cheat sheet up on my end that I'll reference. But we have Allen, Jefferson, and T. Higgins to start the draft so far, and I'm pretty confident in that. But after we took Higgins, Josh Jacobs goes off the board. Then Jalen Hurts. So this guy went with the stack. He has Hurts and Devontae Smith. Can't go wrong there. Then Joe Mixon goes off the board to the Kelsey and Olave team. And then Ramondre Stevenson goes to the Mahomes drafter. I don't think Ramondre should be too impacted by Zeke signing there, but we'll see how it plays out in the season. But after Ramondre Stevenson went, we had Mark Andrews go off the board. So the second tight end is Andrews, of course. He lasted to the mid-3rd round, which is pretty good value for him, I'd say. And then we have Keenan Allen go, and then Calvin Ridley, and then Amari Cooper. So the team who took Saquon and Derrick Henry, getting Calvin Ridley as your wide receiver 1, although unproven with Jacksonville right now, I do like that start. I feel like he got a really good value pick, especially for how his team build is going so far. I'd be pretty confident in my start if I was him. And then we have Najee Harris go off the board, Travis Etienne, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aaron Jones, DK Metcalf, and then Lamar Jackson. I've been seeing Lamar Jackson go around the 4-1, 4-2, 4-3 pick range in a lot of these drafts. So keep that in mind. If you are in need of a quarterback and you have a pick after that and you're really targeting Lamar, you're probably not going to get him. At least that's what these drafts have been showing me. And we do the live mock drafts with real people, not against the computer, the simulator that FantasyPros does. It's a good tool. I just feel like these live mock drafts can prepare you a bit better, and that's what I'm trying to do. So after Lamar went, DJ Moore went, Justin Fields, then DeAndre Hopkins. So Jerry Jeudy goes right after Hopkins, and then Deebo Samuel. Then Christian Watson goes after Samuel. That's one of the earlier picks I've seen for Watson in mock drafts that I've been doing. I'm starting to come around to him myself, though. Can't say I draft him at the 4-9, but it depends on my build and how crazy I might be feeling at that point. But after Watson goes, then we have Breece Hall, then Chris Godwin. So we are up next. Who is the best available that we can take? I think Hawkinson is a no-brainer, but he also is right next to JJ. I don't want to draft two players from the same team. When is Seattle's bye week? I might mess up, so I'm just gonna go real quick here. I couldn't see it. Seattle's bye week is 5. I'm cool with that. We're gonna grab, as much as I want to grab Hawkinson, we're gonna grab Darren Waller here as the tight end most likely. When does New York have their bye week? Week 13. So we're kind of weak at week 13. When is the Niners? Week 9. I'll go with Waller still. It's okay. Take him. Aw, man. Did you see that? Come on. So it took Miles Sanders as our running back. It's all good. It's just a mock draft, but my intention right there was to take Darren Waller. And unfortunately, I can't undo that. But as I've said in prior videos, I'm not going to edit that out. I'm bringing it to you as it's happening. See what happens. Be as prepared as you can. So let me be the lesson to you. But after it forced us into taking Miles Sanders, Terry McLaurin goes, and then Alexander Madison, then Drake London. So it'd be a miracle, I think, if one of the tight ends that we wanted made it back to us. But we'll see. We'll see. Then Deontay Johnson goes right after Drake London. So after Ayuk went, Joe Burrow went, George Kittle went, Justin Herbert went, TJ Hawkinson went, Damian Pierce, Tyler Lockett, Trevor Lawrence, Darren Waller, Mike Williams. So it looks like the tight ends that we wanted aren't going to be there. At this point, I'm shooting for Dallas Goedert, hopefully, but we'll see how that turns out. So that was a mistake, but we know who we wanted to draft. It's okay. Evan Ingram would be okay. It's not my most favorite. Kyle Pitts, I'd be willing to take a chance on him. Still not my most favorite, but we'll see what we get when we get it. J.K. Dobbins goes after Mike Williams. Mike Will made it. I'm not taking Dobbins. He's too injury prone in my opinion. James Conner goes after Dobbins. Then Cam Akers goes. So little running back run right there. 3 in a row. Nothing too crazy though. But after Akers, James Cook comes off the board. He's been rising up the ranks. Rashad White then goes after Cook. So we're going to be up in a couple picks here. Let's hope that Goddard makes it to us. If he doesn't, it's okay. We'll see who is the best positional value or depth at that point that we can find. After Rashad White, Pacheco goes off the board. I think that might be a little early for him, but it looks like he had Mixon only as his running back, so maybe he was starting to panic because that is 6 running backs in a row that have came off the board. And would you look at that, Michael Pittman goes and then Goddard comes off 1 pick right before us. So that's how the cookie crumbles, man. That's how it goes. Looking at our team, we need to take I want a decent tight end. I'm willing to take a risk on Kyle Pitts, so I'll do that. I'm okay with that. And then I'd like a good receiver here, possibly. Who do we have left? We have Addison. I mean, Kamara's staring at us right in the face. He might be pretty decent when he comes back from his suspension. What is the bye week for the Saints? Looks like that's week 11. So my tight end and my flex might be a little different. That's okay. I'll take Kamara at that point. He can be a flex spot. So I have 2 week 13 buys and 2 week 11 buys. Much better than I've been doing in some of my other drafts in terms of too many bye weeks. But that's just my opinion. Some people don't mind that at all. Back to the draft board, though. After we took Pitts and Kamara, Deshaun Watson is the next quarterback to go off the board. And then we have Marquise Hollywood Brown. Hollywood swinging. After Hollywood Brown come off the board, then we had Mike Evans, Dalvin Cook, and now it looks like Dak Prescott is the next off the board. Might be a little early there, but has Justin Fields been taken? He has. Okay, so quarterbacks are getting pretty ran down. Then we have Christian Kirk and then Javonte Williams. Great value for Williams right there. That's the 4th running back that he's taken, and that's really strong for it to be Javonte Williams. He is pretty weak at receiver, though. All he has is Ridley, which is a good option, but that's all he has right now. He's really banking on finding some value down here. After Javonte came off the board, Jahan Dotson, David Montgomery, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Addison. I like that pick. George Pickens goes. That's great value for Pickens as well, that I'd say. DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, JSN the Rook. That's a great pick too. Brandon Cooks, and then Treylon Burks. So a little bit of a receiver pickup right there. Up next, when we pick, I'm probably going to go for a receiver too. Just looking at the team, all we have is JJ and T. Higgins. And when I say all we have, those are great options, but I would like to flex another one in place of Kamara and vice versa, depending on matchups. And, you know, Kamara suspended, of course, for the first 3 games, so I'm going to need a better flex anyway. But we'll see who we can get possibly at receiver. Just depends on how the board's looking. I'm not going to reach too much if I don't have to. But after Burks goes, Khalil Herbert comes off the board, then Cortland Sutton. Where did Jerry Jeudy go? Just out of curiosity. He went 407. Okay, and then Cortland Sutton goes 808. I think we'd all obviously much rather have Jerry Jeudy. I just wanted to see the comparison between the two. Daniel Jones comes after Sutton. So Jones went, like we said, Gabe Davis, then A.J. Dillon, and we are on the board. Who do we have at receiver? We have Juju as a possible option. I don't hate that too much. We have Michael Thomas. I don't want to really draft another Saints player. When is the week 11? I don't like that either. I'm running out of time here. I can't really see. We're going to go with Quentin Johnson. It's probably a bad pick, but it's okay. He's a flex spot. Not really my favorite. But who do we have after this? Zach Charbonnet. I feel like I might like that. When's his bye week? Seahawks. Week 5. We already have Kenneth Walker, though. See, this is tough. 30-second time limit. I'll take Elijah Moore as another receiver just in case. I didn't see his bye week, so that's 5-2. These 30-second clocks are killer, man. They are killer. After we took Quentin Johnston and Elijah Moore, Brian Robinson comes off the board. Then we have Jamal Williams, Zay Flowers, Kirk Cousins, Samaje Perine, and Juju on that beat. JSS, Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Thomas, Rashad Bateman, Zach Charbonnet, Jerick McKinnon, Jacoby Myers, Kadarius Toney, Rashad Penny, Damian Harris, and Evan Ingram. We'll be up again soon. Odell Beckham goes, Pat Freiermuth, Sky Moore, Njoku. After Njoku, Anthony Richardson goes, Nico Collins, Alan Lazard, and we are back up. Best available. Who do we have? We got the rookie running back out of Miami, Might have to go with that. When is their bye week? Hopefully I can get that up in time. Where are the Dolphins? Week 10. I will take that. I will take that. I will give a chance on a rook at this point in the draft. And then we are up again. Let's take the next best available that we can do. I don't really like any of these picks. It's going to be a while for us on the next one. We could take Zeke. That might be a reach. I'll take Boyd as a just in case. I don't know what bye week he has though. Where is it? 7. Okay. Yeah, so he's kind of a handcuff to Higgins. He's just going to stay on the bench for the most part. But if something happens to Higgins, he'll be a good spot to put in there. But after we took Boyd, Elijah Mitchell goes off the board. Then goes Jalen Warren. Then Tyler Algier. Then Tank Bigsby. Then Raheem Mostert. Then Jeff Wilson Jr. That's the second draft in a row I've seen Raheem and Jeff go back-to-back. But then goes Chark, Singletary, Rondell Moore, Zay Jones, Darnell Mooney, Dalton Schultz, Geno Smith, Kenneth Gainwell. That could be a sneaky good pick. We'll see how the season goes on. Tyler Higbee, Niners defense, Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Rodgers, Romeo Doubs, Jamison Williams. So with the 12th or 1209 pick, going with Jamison Williams, that is a long play right there. You hope that he comes back in the later half of the season and pays off for you. Greg Dulcich goes after that. Okonkwo goes, and we are up one more time, or we'll be up back-to-back, actually. Who do we need? What do we want? Who's available? What do we got? Let's see. Osborne, not with Jefferson. Kendra Miller, no. Rashawn. I'll go with Rashawn Johnson. See what he can do as the season goes on. See if he carves out a nice role. We are up again. When is the Cowboys bye week? I might just take Michael Gallup at this point, or Isaiah Hodgins. Cowboys is week 7, and then where are the Giants? Week 13. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll go with Michael Gallup. It does matter, but it doesn't matter. So after we took Gallup, Jared Goff goes off the board. So he took 2 quarterbacks. I'm not really interested in taking 2 quarterbacks unless Anthony Richardson made sense for when I was picking. And that just be for like a bye week, or maybe he really turns it up and you can trade him. Especially if you're not in a 2 quarterback league that you can start. But then we got Hyatt go, Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, Adam Thielen, Kendra Miller, Justin Tucker, Jerome Ford, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, CEH, Cowboys defense, Eagles defense, Bills defense, and then Tyler Bass. So it looks like some people may have went to auto pick to end their draft. That's a shame. But then we got Harrison Butker, Patriots defense, Jets defense. So clearly we're going to need to take a defense and a kicker with our last 2 picks. And the positions are flying off the board. So we have Ravens as the top rated defense according to FantasyPros. Daniel Carlson just went. That's who I was eyeing. Let's take a look at the draft board. So the Ravens defense just went. So we got back-to-back picks of whoever we want. So let's go with Young Ho Koo. Can't go wrong with my guy right there. And then next up for our last pick, let's go with the... You can kind of throw a dart between any of these guys, whichever ones that you want to do. I'm going to roll with Miami right now. Just have a decent feeling about them. So let's see how this goes. Let's see what they grade us, even though, I mean, it doesn't really matter what they grade us. It's a cool thing to see. Then we have Jason Sanders go off the board right after we took our Dolphins defense. After Sanders, Broncos defense goes, Kansas City Chiefs defense, Brian McManus, Jake Elliott, and then Jason Myers. Let me know what you guys think of this team so far. They gave us an A, a 94 out of 100. I'd probably agree with that. That's a pretty solid team, in my opinion. Getting the first pick and the turn can really make a world of difference. So I think this draft kind of proved that getting the first pick, maybe even the second pick, third pick, but definitely the first pick plays a huge advantage in fantasy football. If you can draft smart afterwards and grab up the best value that you can get, you might have a steal on your hands. But that was the video for today. I'd say we did pretty well. Be sure to like the video if you like what you saw. Please let me know in the comments, what you thought of my team, what you'd have changed, if there's anything that you'd have changed. How does your team look right now? I'm curious to see what anyone has to say. So I appreciate everybody watching today, for tuning in, for checking me out. This is Mystic Perp Sports. So enjoy the rest of your day and peace out.